Let's continue by making the cloth parts for the bed. First, let's make the mattress. Select all the edges and chamfer them. Now select these objects and isolate the selection by pressing Alt plus Q. Let's make the ground object. Make a large box like this. Move it down. Select these parts and move them away from the bed. Let's make the bed sheets first. Create a rectangle. Use the Align tool to center it on the mattress. And press OK. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And add the garment maker modifier. Let's increase the density to get a smoother result. Something like 0.3. Okay. Add UVW mapping. And the cloth modifier. Now go to Object Properties, select the rectangle and set it to cloth. Change the type to cotton. Press OK. Let's freeze this for now. And go back to Object Properties and Add Objects. Select all these objects and press Add. Set them to collision objects. Now press the Simulate Local button. Actually press it again and enable self collisions and check intersections. This will make sure that the cloth is not crossing itself. Okay, press the Simulate Local again. Okay, it's dropping too fast. Let's reset the simulation and use the Simulate Local Damped. And this will make the sheet drop down slower. Okay, stop the simulation now. Let's convert the sheet to editable poly. Now let's create the bed cover. Create a rectangle like this. Make a copy and convert to editable spline. Select this line and scale it larger, like this. Now use the outline tool with a small value like this. This will give the curly ends to the covers. Now convert this smaller rectangle to editable spline as well and use the attach tool to attach larger rectangles to it. Select all the points and press break. Set them all to corner type and add the garment maker modifier. Increase the density. Okay, I decided to make the outer part a little bit smaller. Weld the vertices back together and scale these outer lines smaller, like this. Okay, select all the vertices again and break. Delete the garment maker and create a new one. Let's increase the density. Now go to seams, select these two seams and try to create seam. You can see that it's not working. We need to increase the seam tolerance value. Try again. And the seam is created. Do the same for the rest of the seams. Just like this. Now add a cloth modifier, enable check intersections, self collisions, and disable gravity. Then go to object properties and change the object type to cloth and assign a cotton preset. Okay, let's try simulate local now. Okay, I see a slight problem. Stop the simulation, reset state, erase simulation. Now go to the top view, press 1 to enter the vertex mode and select these inner vertices and press my group button. OK, and change the group type to drag. This will make sure that the inner part stays in place while the outer part is being pulled towards it. Let's try simulating again. Let's stop the simulation, press 1 to go back to groups and delete the group. Now let's finish the simulation by pressing simulate local again. Looks like the gaps are closed, so we can stop the simulation. Now I want to drop this bed cover onto the bed. Press set initial state button to fix this state. We're going to create a helper object to curl this edge of the bed cover like this. Make a box here. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Like this. And let's create a simple animation for it. Press the auto key button. Go to the frame 10. Press the key button. Go to the frame 30. And rotate it like this. And move a little bit forward. Depress the auto key button and you can see we have a small animation going on. Hopefully this will help us turn the edge of the bed cover. Okay, let's try it. Select the cloth. Go to Object Properties, press Add Objects. Let's check the name of the bed sheet, rectangle 06. Change it to sheet. Okay, Object Properties, Add Objects, rectangle sheet. Change it to cloth as well, cotton. And add the rest of the objects and assign them as collision objects. Press OK. And let's try running our simulation. But first enable the gravity. Press simulate. Okay, let's stop the simulation now. And delete the helper box. Let's add another helper object. Simple box over here. Enable auto key, press the key button, move the slider to frame 40, and let's move this box over here, like this. Enable auto key, move to frame 50, rotate the box some more, and move over here. Let's see how it goes. Press the simulate button. Cancel. Move back and truncate the simulation. We forgot to add the box to our simulation, so go to Object Properties, add objects, and select our box. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, cancel the simulation and delete the box. Now let's finish the simulation. Press Simulate Local. Okay, stop the simulation now. Continue the simulation. and stop it like this. Set the initial state. Okay, now we can unfreeze everything. Let's move the floor up a little bit and enable auto key. Press the key button, move the floor here. Actually undo that, move to frame 50 and move the floor up. Okay, disable auto key. Now select this part of the bed frame, move it closer to the bed and enable auto key mode. Press the key button, move to frame 60 and move the frame in place. Add the objects to the simulation. Select all the objects and press add. Set them to collision objects. Okay, continue the simulation now. cancel the simulation. Select the bedsheet. Convert it to editable poly. Use the slice modifier. Rotate the slicing plane. And remove top. Just so it doesn't get in the way. It won't be seen anyway. Like this. And collapse. Now continue the simulation. Okay, let's stop here. I think we can stop with the simulations now and convert the bedsheet and bed cover to editable poly. Now isolate the bed cover, select this element and press detach. Now add shell modifier. And play with the values. Let's fix this part a little bit. There are some overlapping faces. Move this part back a little bit, enable soft selection to make it easier, and just scale it on the y-axis like this, and maybe here as well. Okay, now add edit poly modifier on top of the shell. Actually, let's isolate this. Now select one of these edges, like this, and press ring. Now connect them and extrude the result. Increase the height and the width, like this. Now select all the vertices and weld them together. like this. Now just add turbo smooth. Great. Unhide everything and select this curly part. Let's turbo smooth it as well. Let's remove the animation from this part. Delete cloth. Delete keys. And delete the ground plane or box. Group this part together and move in place like this. Let's delete these metal connectors here. Should I not delete? But convert to editable poly and move these vertices to the other side like this. This is the only place they are going to be seen. Okay. I need to fix these curling parts manually. Okay, that's good enough. Let's make the baldachin. We can make just one half and mirror it to the other side. Create a circle here. Enable in renderer and viewport and assign a rectangular profile to it. Okay. Now convert to editable spline and scale it larger like this. Move here. And let's make the ground plane again. Or box. Move it over here. And let's create a wall. Another box. And position in place. Like this. Okay, let's animate this big circle here. Enable auto key, move to frame 30, and reduce the size by scaling it smaller. Like this. Match the canopy size. Okay. Now copy the circle object and use the extrude modifier on it. Like this. Convert to editable poly. Delete the top and bottom polygons. And select these long edges here. Use connect and increase the number of segments. And try to get square polygons. Add turbo smooth. And UVW mapping. Choose cylindrical type, like this. Now convert it to editable poly and delete the polygons over here and on this side as well. All that's left is this 1/4. Let's add the cloth modifier. Change the object type to cloth. And maybe polyester preset. Add the other circle and set it as collision object. Now press 1, select these vertices, choose make group, and select the surface mode. Once that's selected, click on the large circle here. This will glue these vertices to this large circle. Okay, let's remove the animation from this cloth object. Actually, convert it to editable poly, select the element, click detach as clone, okay, and delete it. We got rid of the animation like that. Assign cloth again, and do the same thing as before. this. Now only the large circle is animated. Okay. Freeze the ground object. And add the wall to the simulation as well. Press OK. And let's try the simulation. Okay, cancel the simulation and continue the process by pressing Simulate Local. Good. Stop the simulation. Go to the front viewport. And let's create a helper object here. Create a circle. Rotate it 90 degrees. And position over here. Make sure it's larger than the cloth. Okay. Now enable auto key mode. Set a key here. And move to the frame 80 and set another key here. Well, actually don't set a key, just move the circle. And rotate it. And reduce the radius. There is a slight problem with our animation. Undo, undo. Let's just scale it. Okay. Disable auto key. Go back to the class object, go to object properties and add the circle. Add and change it to collision object. Now truncate the simulation and press the simulate button. Okay, cancel the simulation. Looks like it's not working like we want it to. Let's try increasing the size of the circle. Delete the cloth modifier from it and increase the radius. Not the radius, but the length and width. Something like this. And move this key to the 100th frame. Okay. Go to the cloth object, truncate simulation. Go to object properties and add the circle again. Change it to collision object. Press OK. And let's try again. Okay, stop the simulation. Let's see how it looks. Much better. Let's try simulating local. Stop the simulation. Select these vertices. Make a group and set it to drag. Now delete the circle and simulate local. Okay. Delete the upper circle. Convert this to editable poly. And unfreeze everything. Add another cloth modifier. Go to the frame 1. Select these vertices. Select my group. Okay. Change the group type to drag. Now go to object properties, change the object to cloth. Let's try cotton this time. And add the other box objects. Change them to collision objects. Let's move the floor down a little bit. And enable auto key mode. Move to frame 30. And move the floor back up. Like this. Okay, let's try a simulation. Press simulate. And stop the simulation. Let's try simulating local for a while. Okay, you can see that not much is changing, so let's stop it right there. Convert to editable poly. And select the vertices over here. Enable soft selection. Increase the fall off. And let's try to scale them down a little bit. Like this. Increase the fall off more. Move closer to the wall. Let's scale down again. Okay. I think this is fine for now. Unhide everything. Let's add FFD And scale these a bit flatter. A bit more. Let's move this part up a little bit so the bed doesn't get lost here. Like this. Now mirror to the other side. Let's make some pillows. Let's start with the box. Convert to editable poly, and let's add some more edges here. Pinch it out. And more edges here. Like this. No, scale these down a little bit. Select all the outer vertices and flatten them like this. Make the middle part bigger. Okay, let's try adding turbo smooth. See, the shape is not looking very natural. Let's add some more edges. And here as well. And scale them like this. Select these edges and connect them. Scale this part larger. Let's add the relax modifier now. And FFD 444 on top of that. Scale the middle larger, thicker, invert the selection, and flatten it out. Now scale everything like this. And add edit poly modifier. Now add another FFD 444 and scale these vertices smaller. Unhide everything, and let's try to position this pillow in place. Let's use the FFD modifier to adjust the shape like this. Okay. So now it's resting against the metal frame. Let's add some seam along the edge here. Add edit poly modifier, select this edge, press loop. Now extrude them in a little bit. Like this, press OK. And extrude the result again. Change the height to 0. And reduce the width. Add another turbo smooth on top of this. And we have a seam. Now let's unwrap this model. Add unwrap UVW modifier. Select all the edges and press edit. Open the editor and set tools while selected. Okay. Now select the central edge here. And press loop. Now click on the edge selection to seams button. This creates a seam over here. Open up the editor again. Select one of the faces. And press expand face selection to seams, like this. Good. Now let's use the pelt mapping to assign UVW coordinates to this part. Press the pelt button and start pelt, like this. Okay. Invert the selection and do the same again. Start pelt and commit. Now we can scale these a bit smaller. And position them in different places so the UVs are not exactly the same on both sides. Change the selection mode to select element and move the elements around a little bit. Like this. Now add edit poly modifier and select this edge here. Press loop and create shape. Make sure it's set to linear. Now select the shape we just created and go to rendering tab. Change the profile to radial and reduce the thickness. Okay, let's make a copy of this. Press Ctrl V and OK. Isolate the selection, disable rendering, and select the line. Now convert it to editable poly. Select the outline and hold Shift and scale it larger, like this. Delete the central polygon, and what's left is this. Select this edge, press ring, and let's connect them. Like this, press OK. It's good. Unhide all. Select the shape here. Isolate the selection. Let's freeze this one. And select the inner border of this element. Press Create Shape. Set it to linear. OK. Change the profile to rectangular. And now select both of these parts. Scale them larger. Like this. Select this shape. Go to the frame 1, enable auto key, move to frame 30, and scale it down. So it matches this part here. Like this. Okay. Select this piece and add cloth modifier to it. Set the object type to cloth, change it to cotton, press OK. Add the shape to our simulation and change it to collision object. Now press 1 and select these vertices. Once you have them selected, make group and choose the surface option. Select the shape. Okay. Now unhide everything. Select this piece and this and this. And the pillow as well. Okay. Let's try the simulation now. Disable gravity first and simulate a local. Sorry, not local. Scratch that. Simulate. Okay, cancel the simulation. Let's try turbo smooth. Convert to editable poly. Delete this case. Now select these vertices, enable soft selection, and adjust them manually. And mirror the pillow to the left. And finally the bed is ready.